Okay, we are going to graph, in this case, f. As we graph this, first thing we want to do is go ahead and factor out a 4. So this becomes q of x equals 4, x squared plus 5x plus 6. We're now looking for factors of 6 that add up to 5, and hopefully we notice that my factors are 1 times 6 and 2 times 3, so it's got to be 2 times 3. This then factors into q of x is equal to 4 times x plus 2 times x plus 3. Therefore, step 1 almost complete. My x-intercepts are -2 and -3. So we plot those points at -2 and -3. Those are pretty close together, aren't they? All right, step 2. We want to find the axis of symmetry. And there's two ways you can do that. Because of this first equation right here in standard form, I can find the axis to be -b over 2a, which is -20 over 2 times 4, or factor out the 4, we got -5/2. You might consider that to be -2.5, however you want to write that. Or, because we've got factored form, in the factored form, or once I have the x-intercepts, then I can say x is equal to the sum of the intercepts, -2 plus -3, divided by 2, or -5/2. So clearly, my axis of symmetry now has to be at 5/2, or at 2.5. Now I might label that x equals -5/2. The rest of step 2 says I got to find the vertex, and I'm halfway there. The vertex is -5/2, comma something, and I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And it doesn't really matter which equation I plug that in, either factored form or standard form. Take your pick, it should come out the same. So y is equal to 4 times -5/2 plus 2, but I'm going to write 2 as 4/2, times -5/2 plus 3, but 3 is going to be 6/2, equals 4 times -1/2 times +1/2. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. Negative, or +4 times -1/4 times -1/4 is -1. That goes right in here. That gets plotted right up here, right on the axis of symmetry. Step 3, we want to find the y-intercept. The nice part is that anywhere the y-intercept is, notice that on this graph, on your y-axis, all the x values on that y-axis are 0. So as I plug that puppy in, right, it's going to be 0. So therefore, easiest to go back to standard form. Standard form says 4x squared plus 20x plus 24. So y equals, when I plug in 0 for x, I'm going to get 0 plus 24. Therefore, this has to be 24. Now, unfortunately, I didn't leave myself enough room for this, so I am going to create some room. I'll move that over, and I'm just going to plot a point right up here and call this point on my y-intercept right there 0, 24. Now we know that there's a symmetrical point to that on the other side of the axis of symmetry. 2.5 points from the axis of symmetry puts that right here. That point's going to be -5, 24. All right, last step comes from a step 4 is using the a value that equals 4, and it acts like a slope. It is not the slope, but it gives me my first point. I will always go 4 over 1. If it was 1/2, it'd go 1/2 over 1. Rise over run. So now when I plot that point, I go from here, I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. From here over 1. So you can see how that doesn't rise very fast, does it? When I finish the job and plot the points, and I want a nice smooth graph, hopefully. And here, because of that 4, it shot up pretty fast, didn't it? And we're done. Let's take a look at that all that mess. That's what we're finished with.